I never believed in fate, until the day I found that diary. It was lying in the middle of the forest floor, half buried under wet leaves and moss, as if the earth itself had tried to hide it. The cover was cracked and old, but what caught my attention was my name etched on the front in faded ink. In my own handwriting. At first, I thought it was some strange coincidence. A prank, maybe. But when I flipped through the pages, my heart stopped. The entries described events from my life, things that had happened. And some that hadn't. Yet, the first entry was dated exactly 1 week before the day I found the diary. It described me walking through the same forest trail, feeling the cool air brush against my skin. Hearing crows caw in the distance, just like I had that morning. But the final line of the entry chilled me. I found something today that I should never have touched. I felt my stomach twist. I hadn't written those words. Yet they sounded exactly like my thoughts. And somehow, the diary knew I would be here. Flipping to the next page, I noticed the writing had grown shakier, as if whoever wrote it had been in a rush. Or terrified. As I stood there reading the entry, a gust of wind rustled the trees above me. That's when I noticed something strange, something I hadn't seen on my way in. The trees ahead seemed darker, more twisted, and silent. Too silent. Then, from the corner of my eye, I caught movement. A shadow darted between two trunks. My heart pounded. I tried to convince myself it was just an animal. But then I turned the page, and saw another entry written for today's date, the ink still fresh. They see me now. I shouldn't have come back here. I froze. Whoever wrote this was either watching me, or already knew I would be here. I turned the next page carefully, but something was wrong. The paper was damp, not from the forest moisture, but from something thicker. Dark red stains spread across the paper like ink, but I knew better. It was blood. Dried, but fresh enough to have a metallic scent. The entry was shorter this time. Just one sentence, scribbled in a frantic hand: "Don't read aloud what comes next." I looked around. The forest had gone dead silent. Even the wind had stopped. My throat tightened. Against every instinct, I turned the page, because part of me needed to know what was next. And part of me already feared it was too late. I turned the page. The words were smeared, like someone had written them while crying or trembling. As I began to read silently, something impossible happened. The ink began to move. It twisted on the page, forming fresh letters, spelling out words that weren't there seconds ago. My heart pounded. Then I heard it. A whisper, soft, hoarse, and cold, echoed from the diary itself. "You shouldn't have read that." I dropped the book. The voice wasn't coming from around me. It was coming from inside me. I staggered backward, but the diary flipped open again on its own, as if begging me to keep reading. Or warning me that I had no choice. I forced myself to breathe and knelt to close the diary. But the final page had already turned. It was blank, at first. Then, in real time, ink began appearing, as if guided by an invisible hand. I watched in horrified silence as a new sentence slowly formed. "He is here now." My breath caught in my throat. Then, a name appeared underneath it, my name. Full. First, middle, last. My knees buckled. No one, not even my friends, used my full name. The diary knew who I was, where I stood, and who was coming for me. I didn't want to look up. I was too afraid of what I might see standing between the trees. I finally looked up, and I wished I hadn't. Between the trees, maybe 20 feet away, stood me. Or something that looked exactly like me. Same clothes. Same face. But the eyes were wrong. Too wide. Too black. And its mouth. It stretched into a smile that no human face should be able to make. It tilted its head slowly, mimicking my movements like a puppet in a broken mirror. I took a step back, and it took one forward, then it raised its hand and pointed at the diary. The pages flipped violently until they stopped on a new entry being written. I watched him run. He didn't get far. I didn't wait to see what it would do next. I ran. Branches tore at my arms, roots clawed at my feet, but I didn't stop. The forest seemed endless, twisted, wrong. No matter which direction I turned, the trees closed in. Then I tripped. The diary flew from my hand and landed open. I didn't want to look, but I had to. There was a new entry, written in blood-red ink, "Run." And then below it, as if taunting me, one more line, "He's behind you." I turned slowly, breath frozen. The forest was silent. But I knew. I wasn't alone.